I rate Spider-Woman 15, guest starring Speedballs. I am glad I remembered I had this because it has given me a good replacement for today. I will explain. I was going to review this. I was going to talk about Spikyballs when they made Speedyballs into a self-arming bondage pet. But I came to realise I have too much to say about Spikyballs. This comic in particular is a tough one to review because the comic itself isn't bad, but Spikyballs as a concept completely changes the discussion. There is a lot about Spikyballs, beyond it being a fucking horrid evolution of Speedyballs. There is a lot of despicable stuff to talk about, but there's also other things about Spikyballs, and I think this is going to be my next big thing. After doing that Us Agent one, I think Spikyballs is my next major endeavour. It will likely be months, or more than probable years, before I can finally gestate and structure everything as best I can. So don't expect me to drop a video explaining Spikyballs next week or tomorrow. But yeah, yesterday I alluded to Speedyballs having a complicated history, and that was meant to be a little foreshadow for Spikyballs today. But instead we have this more respectful treatment of Speedyballs. What hurts me, almost as much as Spikyballs, is we have a fold-out advert. It got my hopes up for one of those recap pages I love, and it dashed them, as it always does, with an advertisement. Spider-Woman, the daughter of the true Spider-Man, has gotten herself a nice big shiner from her superhero antics. And we have some classic teen superhero drama with her having to hide or explain her bruises to her parents. Her parents being Mary James, as seen here, and obviously Peter Parker. I want to, off the bat, say I love the depiction of Mary James throughout this series. She is completely not what half of you were expecting. She is not playing the part of nagging mother. She is shown to be very grounded and having dealt with all the burden of having a loved one be a superhero through a relationship with Spider-Man. She still wants to protect her daughter, and she would prefer if she wasn't putting her life on the line, but she knows that their daughter, and especially the daughter of Peter Parker, is always going to feel a sense of responsibility to do good with her great powers. Here's a cover for Amazing Spider-Woman number 8. A fun cover. A jokey cover which some of you will hate, but I think it's charming because these characters are all so lovable. That is the greatest strength of this series. We love Spider-Man, we love Peter Parker, we love Mary James, and unsurprisingly, we love their daughter. Their daughter isn't rebelling against her parents. She isn't trying to prove herself better than them or deny her connection to them. She is properly their offspring. She embodies the best of both her parents. And I think that she is such an immensely likeable protagonist, is a significant contributing factor to a series lasting the longest of any female-led Marvel title. there is this very strange scene. I'm not sure of its purpose. It reminds us of something, but it is not as important as that was. And it ends with a Jamaican man, or a man appropriating Jamaican culture, going off to, I assume, riddle an ad lady with cum bullets. That is my reading of it, however. Tom Falcon is the writer for Spider-Woman, and what would, in most Tom Falcon books, feel insistently retro and pastiche, feels completely different in Spider-Woman. We have the prototypical high schooler drama from Silver Age Spider-Man being applied to Spider-Woman, and it doesn't feel either corny or dated or even retro or pastiche. We have an unrelated superhero action set piece play out in front of them. Speedballs is battling a villain called Mr. Abnormal. Oh yeah, I assumed you all already knew. This is a future. This is set in a future timeline. The MC2 universe. It is the best future. Spider-Man has happiness and retired. And he has an amazing daughter. And then some of our previously younger heroes, like Speedballs, now fill the position once held by the likes of Spider-Man and Daredevil. Speedballs is one of the major superheroes in the MC2 universe. He is a member of the Avengers, although after the first issue, he doesn't actually appear in that series, which always bothered me. In truth, we never see that much of Speedballs in the MC2 timeline. I think this issue would be his biggest showing. The bad guy he is fighting, Mr. Abnormal, is a very clear riff on Mr. Fantasticals, both in the name and the powers. And I was thinking how much better it would have been if, rather than Mr. Abnormal, we had an enemy from Speedballs' solo series, and we show them having grown and developed into maybe a more formidable opponent. But then I remembered Speedballs' solo series had rubbish bad guys like the Sticker. The worst thing is that Mr. Abnormal's mission, his agenda, his motivation, he is a die-hard comic book collector, and he is using his powers to steal comics. That is this issue's one spark of the cringy Tom Falcon lark. Mr. Abnormal actually has more appearances in the MC2 universe. More than Speedballs, probably. I know him because he is in a few issues of Amazing Spider-Woman, which was my introduction to Spider-Woman and this world. Amazing Spider-Woman was a second series. It was a relaunch of this. And Mr. Abnormal is working for SHIELD in that. He is on a squad with Kanye, the scarred spider. They make a few appearances across Amazing Spider-Woman. Kanye remains an important side character. And actually, he made his debut in Spider-Woman only in the issue before this. None of this meta-commentary comic collector shite was apparent in those amazing Spider-Womans. Marissa, she goes off and changes into a Spider-Woman costume. And I now realise I hadn't established what her non-costumed name was. She is named Marissa after Peter Parker's Aunt Tomei. I read Amazing Spider-Woman. I got those trades as they were coming out, and I eventually went back and read, I think, the first year of this series. I am unsure if I got this far. I don't really remember this, but I don't really remember some of the ones I definitely did read. So it's not saying that much. Spider-Woman battles Mr. Abnormal alongside Speedballs. It seems the time to mention it. There is a Speedball story. It was an inventory story for his solo series that didn't get used but was then printed in 1993. A story where he fights Crusher. It has this Keith Magoo cover, but the thing is, that story is actually written by the Marvel editor who I made cry, Michael Rockford. It's stupid to ask because I know the answer is yes. Do you all want me to track that down? Do you all want me to make him cry, but as a writer this time? We are quickly told Mr. Abnormal's origin. He was sneaking into a factory to steal some Beanie Babies and got exposed to deadly chemicals. It has been a while since you have heard stories about my dad, so I have a great one for you. In 1997, my dad embarked on one of his many get-rich-quick schemes, which he gives up on after a few weeks. He sold knockoff Beanie Babies with most of the beans removed. He would buy them cheap and then try to sell them on at regular price. So in the end, they defeat Mr. Abnormal, and my dad couldn't sell any of his Beanie Babies, and all was well in the world again. Spider-Woman is always charming. It is a very fun title. I recommend you read a random issue of Spider-Woman. You will more than likely feel good about it. I'll give this one a nice Mc7 thumbs up.